Hey everybody, what's up? It's Ryan back here again. I'm sorry it's been a long time. I'm finally back. It's been almost a week. I know I've been doing a lot of stuff. I've had a really busy time going on, with rugby and all sorts of stuff. I had a really good match last weekend, so I've just had a lot going on. But I finally got around to watching another movie, and for once, it's finally the movie I actually promised to watch. I'm gonna go open the door because it's really warm in here. So today I watched Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster, also known as Godzilla vs. Hedorah. Now, I know I mentioned before that I'm kind of breaking my own rules, because usually I watch movies that I've never seen before. But this time I decided to watch something I have seen before, but it's been a little while since I've watched it. Now, while I am a huge Godzilla fan, I love Godzilla so much. However, the thing is that, some of these I haven't watched in a minute. And this one I've been wanting to get around to watching again because, it's just so crazy. It's absolutely insane. Sorry about that. I just had to answer a text for a second. I know my camera looks a little bit different than before because it's at a different angle. But I talked about how this film was kind of crazy. It's a bit of a fever dream, honestly. I don't understand it. I don't get it in any way. Thankfully, it's dubbed. I'm watching the dub version. Normally when I watch anime, I watch subs, but when I watch Godzilla movies, I watch dubs because the dubs are funnier. Now I forgot just how boring this film really is if you're watching it by yourself. Normally I'd watch a film like this with my friends and we all laugh at it and make fun of how goofy it is. But this one I just sat and watched on my own and I was like, what the hell? It's so slow and the scenes that are really crazy, yeah, you can laugh, but it's way more fun if you're there making jokes with your friends and all that. So this film is about Godzilla, of course, fighting against Hedorah, which is the Smog Monster. He's a monster made from smog and pollution. This whole film has a shoehorned sort of pollution message and save the earth and recycle and all that stuff thrown in. It's even got its own little catchy theme song. There's some really just bizarre scenes. That's all I can say is how weird and bizarre the whole thing is. There's scenes in this nightclub where people are all wearing fish masks and this guy has a weird hallucination. And then there's some really weird scenes where there's animation and stuff, but it's not like anime. It's more like a weird French art film type of animation. I was just like, what the hell? There's not really much to say about this film. It's a Godzilla movie. It's awesome. So I love it, but it's just not as good as some of the others. There are some that are genuinely really good that you can sit down by yourself and watch the whole thing beginning to end and really enjoy it. But this is not one of those. I'd really advise not to do drugs when you watch this. This is going to be a really short review. Also, if you can't hear from my voice, I'm not feeling very well. I don't feel 100%. So yeah. So let me talk a little bit about my love for Godzilla and how I got into Godzilla. So this is going to seem really strange and convoluted, but when I was younger, I used to watch this guy on YouTube named The Angry Video Game Nerd. Now, he didn't just do videos about video games, he also had other stuff about movies because he's a big movie fan and all that sort of stuff. So every year he'd do this thing around Halloween time where he'd do this thing called Monster Madness, where he'd talk about horror films and all that. And then one year he decided to talk about Godzilla films. And I watched this, and I was about 9, 10 years old. Well, I watched a year after he released it, so I would have been 10 or 11 years old. So then I watched it, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. I gotta watch these. So for years, I worked on my collection. I got a couple Godzilla movies here and there, up until my 19th birthday, when I had, I think, 7 left that I hadn't got yet. And I was like, Mom, it's my birthday. I'm turning 19. I've been doing this for almost 10 years. Can you just get me these last 6 or 7 Godzilla movies that I'd like? So I got them, and now my collection is complete. I have all of them, including Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla, or Shin Gojira, is the one from 2016, and that is probably my favorite one. That's a very controversial opinion to have because a lot of people are like, oh, the 2016 one isn't that good, but I think it's the best. I have a lot of fun with it. And it really does update the character and the story and make it a lot more dramatic. They've tried dramatic before, but sometimes it fails and sometimes it works, but this time it really hit the mark. So I know I say this a lot, but you're probably asking yourself, Ryan, what are your top 5 favorite Godzilla movies? Well, viewer, I have the answer for you. My top 5 favorite Godzilla movies are as follows. Jesus Christ, I'm not feeling well. Shit. Number 5, Godzilla vs. Megalon. Now, I picked this one mostly because it has one of the coolest characters in the history of the Godzilla franchise, and that is Mr. Jet Jaguar. Number 4, Godzilla vs. Mothra. Ironically, also the 4th Godzilla movie ever released. I love this one. It introduced one of the most iconic characters in the history of the Godzilla franchise, and it's just awesome. That was way too high energy for me, man. Can't keep that up for a whole video. Number 3, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the one from 1976. That also introduced one of the most iconic characters, aka Mechagodzilla, one of Godzilla's greatest foes, and he's used really interestingly in this film in his first incarnation. So I think they did a really good job, and that's why it's my number 3. Number 2, Godzilla Tokyo Sos. This one, this time, has the other two monsters I mentioned before, Mothra and Mechagodzilla, and it uses them in such a creative way, and it keeps the human story really interesting and fun to watch. And numero uno, Shin Gojira. Tried to be like funny there, but I'm not a very funny person, as you might be able to tell. But I already mentioned why I love that one, so it's my favorite. It's awesome. I used to think that Tokyo SOS was my number 1, but I've recently changed it to Shin Godzilla. I know this is going to be a really, really short review, guys, but like, there's just so little to say about this film. It's really weird. You should check it out if you want to watch the Godzilla movies. I don't think it should be the first one that you watch, but you should definitely watch it, especially if you're going to try to watch all the Godzilla movies. When you watch it, don't do drugs beforehand, because doing drugs is bad, first of all. And second of all, you should just not do drugs. I couldn't think of a second thing. So, in conclusion, I say this film is pretty good. It's a Godzilla movie, so it's really good. But, like, in comparison to the others, not the best. I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. Now, that's a 2.5 out of 5 on my Godzilla scale. Of course, on a normal scale, it's a 5 out of 5, because every single Godzilla movie is a 5 out of 5 for me. But this one, in comparison to the others, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5, just middle of the road. It's really weird. It's got some really interesting, funny stuff. But, like, overall, it's pretty par for the course and pretty middle of the road, I've got to say. So thank you very much, guys, for watching this review. Tomorrow, I'm going to be reviewing something different. I've been debating about whether to actually get around to watching The Last Jedi, which I don't know if I'll have the time to do that. I might do that this weekend, because I don't have a rugby game on Saturday, so I might just sit down and finally watch The Last Jedi. But I decided to watch something a little bit shorter for tomorrow because I don't know how much time I have. I'm also going to the movies tomorrow evening, so I'll be doing a review of that film on Saturday morning. So then Sunday will be my Last Jedi review, hopefully. Maybe. We'll see. But tomorrow, I'll be watching Big Trouble in Little China. Now, this is something I have already started watching before, but I haven't gotten around to finishing. And I really enjoyed it from what I've seen so far, but I think it's going to be really fun to watch. So make sure to check it out. Make sure to check out all my reviews. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the little notification bell. And also check out in the description all my friends on their Letterboxd accounts, my Letterboxd account, and then my friend Avant-Garde Criminal, who does all my thumbnails for me. He does some really cool stuff. So make sure to check it out. Thanks, guys.